funding a police department that continues to brutalize us. And I will never stop saying, not only do we need to disinvest in police, but we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department.
Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman Tlaib, Congresswoman Presley, I think is her name. They call themselves the Squad. I consider them to be fools.
All right, quick question. If someone gave you safety, freedom, and a seat in Congress, would you turn around and call that country terrible? Yeah, didn't think so. But that's exactly what's going viral right now. And trust me, it gets wild. 2 U.S. senators just said what millions of Americans have been thinking, and they did not hold back. Hit like, subscribe to KI Reacts right now, and stick around to the end, because this reaction is gonna break it all down in a way the media won't.
I'm in a town where we have a lot of people who are refugees who have come, some from Somalia, some from Bosnia. I've never heard one of them say that America's a terrible place or be unappreciative of our country. Most of them are thankful. I've met people who have come here from behind the Iron Curtain that got away from communism. They're some of the best Americans we have because they really appreciate how great our country is. And then I hear Representative Omar say, oh, America's a terrible place. I thought there'd be justice and there's no justice here. And it's like, well, she came here and we fed her, we clothed her, she got welfare, she got school, she got health care, and then lo and behold, she has the honor of actually winning a seat in Congress, and she says we're a terrible country. I think that's about as ungrateful as you can get. And so while I'm not saying we forcibly send her anywhere, I'm willing to contribute to buy her a ticket to go visit Somalia. And I think she could look and maybe learn a little bit about the disaster that is Somalia, that has no capitalism, has no God-given rights guaranteed in a constitution, and has about 7 different tribes that have been fighting each other for the last 40 years. And then maybe after she's visited Somalia for a while, she might come back and appreciate America more.
There are a lot more important issues in front of the United States Congress and the American people than who tweets what to whom. So let me say it one more time. I thought in the president's original tweet, I thought it was a poor choice of words. I think I know what the president meant, and he clarified later and said, look, if you're not happy in America, leave. Just leave. And I agree with that. But his original articulation of that concept, in my opinion, fell short of the mark. Number two, frankly, I don't know why the president felt the need to tweet on this subject at all. You know, when you argue with a fool, you just prove there are two. And I consider Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman Tlaib, Congresswoman Presley, I think is her name. They call themselves the Squad. I consider them to be fools. They hate America. They think America was wicked in its origins, and it's even more wicked today. They ought to be thanking America instead of calling America evil and wicked and racist. But this is America, and they have the right to their opinion. But I don't like to see the president even dignify their point of view. Besides that, I think that the Squad, as they call themselves, they are destroying the Democratic Party. You know, when your opponent is screwing up, don't interrupt him. Let him go. I mean, just looking at this from a political standpoint, if I didn't know better, I would think the members of the Squad were GOP plants. I mean, they think that illegal immigration, socialism, higher taxes, abortion are all moral goods. They think America, Israel, free enterprise are moral bads. That's not what most Americans believe. And that's kind of where I am on the subject. The president has explained his position. He has said, look, here's what I meant. If you're not happy living in America, leave. It's a free country, and I agree with that assessment.
Welcome back to KRIS React. So today, we're looking at a moment that's blowing up online, where Rand Paul and John Kennedy take direct aim at Ilhan Omar and the group known as the Squad. Now, let's start with Rand Paul, because he brought up something that hits home for a lot of people: perspective. He talked about refugees coming from places like Bosnia or communist regimes, people who escaped real hardship. And what do they say about America? They're grateful. They appreciate the opportunity, the freedom, the stability. And then you contrast that with Ilhan Omar, who came to the United States, built a life here, rose all the way to Congress, which is one of the highest honors in the country, and still speaks about America in extremely negative terms. Now, let me be clear. In America, you absolutely have the right to criticize the country. That's part of freedom. But what Rand Paul is pointing out is the difference between criticism aimed at improving something and rhetoric that paints the entire system as broken or beyond repair. That's where a lot of Americans draw the line. Then you've got John Kennedy, and this is where things get sharp. Kennedy doesn't dance around it. He basically says engaging with the Squad's arguments is a waste of time, and he delivers it in that classic blunt style he's known for. He calls out Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, and Ilhan Omar, arguing that their views on issues like government expansion, economic policy, and America's global role are out of step with what most Americans believe. And here's the political angle Kennedy raises that's actually pretty interesting. He suggests that this kind of messaging could hurt their own party because it doesn't resonate with the broader public. Now, whether you agree with that or not, it's a real debate happening right now. From a right-leaning perspective, the core issue here is simple. America is not perfect, but it offers more opportunity and freedom than most places in the world. That's why millions of people still want to come here. So, when elected leaders describe the country as fundamentally unjust or irredeemable, it's going to spark backlash, not because people think everything is flawless, but because they believe the system, while imperfect, is worth defending and improving. That's the divide you're seeing in this clip. At the end of the day, this isn't just about personalities. It's about how people view America itself. Is it a country that needs reform or one that needs to be completely reimagined? That's the real question behind all of this. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Rand Paul made a fair point about perspective, and was John Kennedy right to push back this hard? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you made it this far, make sure you like the video, subscribe to KRIS Reacts, and stay tuned because we're just getting started.